Hey, I'm Mr. C, and this is Mr. C's History Hits. So today's amazing history story is about a reformer named Jan Hus. Now, we know probably a lot about various kinds of reformers in the Catholic Church. Martin Luther's the one everybody knows the most about, and I think rightly so. There's others like John Calvin and Herbert Zwingli and other guys like that. But one of my favorites, not just because I have an affinity for things Hungarian and Eastern European, is a guy named Jan Hus. Jan Hus was a devotee of John Wycliffe from England. Wycliffe, of course, is the first guy to translate the Latin Bible into English, into the English vernacular. You can read copies of it online. It's pretty cool. When Wycliffe's Bibles made their way to Bohemia, what we would call Czechoslovakia, a little chunk of Hungary, a little bit of Ukraine, it was received with great joy. And this guy named Jan Hus, who was a priest in the Catholic Church, was very excited about the idea of having the Bible in his own language and doing away with some of the other principles of the Catholic Church, or I guess just practices of the Catholic Church that he didn't agree with. So he started a group. They got together and formed a kind of a breakaway splinter group from the Catholic Church and caused all kinds of problems in Bohemia for the Holy Roman Emperor, whose name was Sigismund. In Hungarian, that's Zsigmond, but we don't need to go there. Anyway, so he was a problem for a long time, and the Catholics wanted to get rid of him. So they called a council, the Council of Constance, which convened at the end of 1414 and on into 1415. They asked Jan Hus to come to that to sort of reconcile, but I think Hus probably knew that there wasn't a reconciliation going to happen here. They were going to be just really unhappy with him. So he asked Zsigmond for a guarantee of safe conduct. If I go to this conference, will you guarantee my safety? Zsigmond said he would. And so Hus, being a smart guy, made his will out first, and then he went to the conference, where, of course, they almost immediately arrested him. Zsigmond protested here and there a little bit, but not really seriously, because what he really wanted was for the conference to declare him Holy Roman Emperor. And if he made the priests mad, they wouldn't do that. So he pretty much just kept his mouth shut while they imprisoned Jan Hus in a local monastery and then tried him over the course of a couple of months, asking him to recant all of his previous statements. He wouldn't recant anything and said, if you can't prove to me from the Bible that I have taught heresy, you can't convict me. That never really works, of course. They'll convict you anyway. So they did, and then decided that to dispose of his conviction, the only way to get rid of him for the charge of heresy was to have him burned at the stake. Not content with just tying him to a pole, putting some wood around his feet, and lighting it on fire. No. They buried him up to his neck in wood, and underneath of it they put a bunch of copies of Wycliffe's Bible that they were going to use as kindling. Well, they tried to light it, and it wouldn't light. They tried over and over, and it didn't happen. Most of the people who were there to watch were friends of Jan Hus, including just a peasant woman who happened to be there. She got so frustrated with the priests trying to light this fire and being unable to do that she grabbed the torches from them and lit a bundle. She brought a bundle of sticks, lit the sticks on fire, and put that on the fire and said, "Now it'll burn," and then realized what she had done. And Jan Hus responded with a Slavic phrase that I don't speak Slavic, so I can't really help you with that, but a Slavic phrase that's still in use today that essentially means, "Oh, what are you thinking?" No kidding, still in use today. He refused to recant all the way to the end and died essentially saying that he was happy to die for the things that he said. The rebellion of Jan, the Hussite Rebellion, went on in Bohemia for another 25 or 30 years, caused all manner of problems, and eventually caused the Catholic Church to change itself a little bit in that area of Bohemia. The first time that the Catholic Church had ever admitted a sort of separate group of Catholics under different rules than the rest of the Catholics had to obey. Very cool guy, Jan Hus, one of my favorites. Died in July of 1415, and that's today's super cool fact about history.